It's time!
All right, welcome back to the Reverse Mush podcast. Harry Mack here as always, my co-host Ross. We have a very special guest this week, 12-3 rising UFC bantamweight out of Houston, Texas, Metro Fight Club, Adrian Yanez. Thank you for joining us, Adrian.
And thank you, man. Thank you for having me on, man. Thank you.
Now we appreciate it, and especially all this craziness going on and a fight coming up. We appreciate your time. So pumped to talk to you, man.
Oh yeah, man. I'm super excited to be on, man. I just came home from training, so it took a little bit longer than expected, but man, it was a good one.
There you go.
Love to hear that. So are you in a full fight camp mode?
Yeah, man. I've never really stopped training. Never really stopped training, but now, like, once January, like, the first hit, like, I pretty much went into full swing of things of full training camp. So I was already in shape coming in. So now it's just time to get in better shape and just smoothing up some techniques, here and there,
Beautiful. Yeah, I guess we might as well jump right into it. So March 20th, currently you're scheduled for a fight at 135, Gustavo Lopez. So they haven't announced the venue for this fight yet, right?
Yeah, man. I just been telling everybody it's at the Apex. That's
okay.
On the contract, that's what they said it was going to be at. But I've heard some rumblings that it was going to be. They might let some people in, but I don't know with this whole situation. Everybody, as soon as everybody asks me, man, I'm just like, yeah, it's at the Apex. But I'm just assuming it's going to be at the Apex. So until then, I'm just leaving it up to them, and when they're going to announce it. I have honestly, if it were up to me, I would rather it be at the Apex because I love the setup. I love how it's been, and I'm already used to it. I fought there twice, so if it goes that way again, I'm 100% cool with that too.
Do you think fighting in the Apex with the smaller octagon benefits your style?
Man, I've only fought in that size of octagon. Like, there's other promotions like LFA. They have had the same size octagon as the Apex Center, and also Fury Fighting Championship. They had the same size. I think just a tad bit smaller. So I'm so used to that size of octagon already. I'm actually can't wait to jump into the bigger octagon because I love to stand and trade, and
Right.
I know a lot of fighters. They just want to, just like wrestlers in the 35 division. Got a lot of great wrestlers. They just want to try to hem you up against the fence and try to waste time, try to get the takedowns from there, and try to do the Khabib thing and just wear you out on the fence. So I would love to fight in a bigger octagon. But until then, if we still fight in the Apex, man, I'm already so used to it. I already know where I need to be, where to cut my angles at. So, I'll take either one. But I wouldn't mind fighting
You
in a
got a
bigger.
little home field advantage there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Super comfortable.
Love to see that.
Go ahead, Harry.
Sorry, Russ. So we're all working it out over Zoom right now, and everyone's just trying to make it work. But so I guess I just wanted to ask, I guess to backtrack a little about the Contender Series process. So you said you have some experience there. Obviously, that was your first time hopping in the cage there in the Apex. So what was that like in August, getting to go out there and you fight on those Tuesday night cards. You get awarded a contract. You put on a crazy TKO. I don't know, just take us through that a little bit.
Man, it was super weird, but also I kind of liked it. I kind of liked fighting on that Tuesday because throughout the week, Monday through Friday, it's always been like, man, I had to eat super healthy through this, and usually like before like a weight cut, I'm so used to cutting weight on a Thursday or Friday that like on that Saturday, Sunday, I would be kind of just like, you know what, like let me have just a little bit of a cheat, just a little bit, just to get me through.
Yeah, a little burger.
Yeah, no, yeah, maybe. If I was super low on weight, but I'd give myself a little cheat and everything. But I was already so strict through Monday through Friday that I was flying in on Saturday, so I had to watch what I ate. Then Sunday came, and I was like, okay, I really got to watch what I eat. So there was no cheat process on those on those weight cuts, and it was just like super easy for me because I was already eating like good food, and like the weight cut was just super simple. It was super easy for me. Uh, and like the UFC made it easy by providing us like the Epsom salt stuff and like the little sauna room, since we weren't able to have access to the to actual saunas at that time. Man, it was super easy for me. So like I actually preferred it. I was like, man, this was like the easiest time for me to make weight. Uh, and then going into the fight, man, it was weird, like fighting with like, because that was the first time me ever fight without a crowd. It was just weird feeling, weird moment, and just man, it was a calming sensation for me. Like once I walked in there, like there was no like I didn't hear like all these guys like cheering, blabbering, saying stupid stuff in the crowd, or like
No,
hearing
no Ric Flair woos.
no woos, no booze, no nothing. So it was quite calming for me because it was like a zenful moment for me. Once I stepped in that cage and the bell rang, and then like I saw everything. Like I saw everything before it even happened. I saw him want to load up with a couple punches. I kind of wish I checked his kicks. They threw like a couple, but I saw him coming, but I just knew they weren't going to do any damage. And then I saw the shot that he wanted to throw, and then I just let it rip because I saw the opening. I just took it, and I just took full advantage of it.
There you
And
go.
just like, and just going back into that, I mean, Contender Series fight, obviously there's a lot on the line going into that fight. Does it add any extra excitement, nerves? I know you said it was like a zenful moment walking in there, but just going into that fight, are you thinking about all the things on the line? Or are you just trying your best to stay focused on just another fight?
Man, one thing that one big thing that my coaches like told me throughout this whole process, because he was he was there for like Tito Ortiz, Rico Rodriguez, and with them back in their heyday. So the one thing that he was telling me is like, look, be in the moment. Don't look past anything. Like this is like, don't look past. Enjoy the moment that you're in, because one day like you're just gonna look and you're like, it's gonna go like that. It's gonna snap. And so that I've been taking that into full consideration during this whole entire time. Like flying in to Las Vegas was me. I was in taking the moment. I was embracing that moment. I was like, man, this is really cool. I'm out here on somebody else's dime. I flew out to Vegas. I'm here in Vegas doing what I love to do. I trained for this moment. It was relaxing. And then in the back, I was just there getting in my groove. I wasn't trying to put on no no wrong emotion in my head. Like I wasn't out there trying to be mad or mean. Like I wasn't going in there having myself hating Brady. I
Right.
was in there. I was zenned out, man. I was in there. I was like, I'm here, man. This is the moment that I worked so hard to get here for. I'm good. I'm happy. I'm relaxed. I was getting ready, moving, just like, yeah. I could feel those moments, man. That I could like the thing. I didn't look past those moments. I didn't look so hard to get into the cage that like I can relive those moments like right now. I remember being in the back, just remember, just like, okay, this moment, man. It's like I've trained hard for this. I start shadow boxing. I got my hands wrapped. I'm moving around. I was like, man, I feel good. Like everything just felt like it was falling into place, and I could feel it at that moment. I can still feel it now. Uh, and I can still remember walking out because I remember they played his. It was a weird moment because they played his intro like of him walking out, and I had a TV right set in front of me, and I was looking at him walk out, and I remember seeing Sean Shelby saying some good stuff about Brady. I was like, I was in my own head. I was like, look, they even want him to win. It's just set up for you to take it. It's just set up for you to take
Love
it.
that.
It's like set up for you to take this moment. And I was like, man. So I walked out there. It just everything just felt great. So once I got in there and got that TKO, man, it was like it it was like a big weight off my shoulders as well, because I was like, man, I trained so hard for this moment that it paid off. But then after that, I was like, holy shit, I got a lot more work.
Right. It's like that weird moment of like it's the culmination of all the work you've done to get to that point, and then also knowing that like, all right, there's still a whole lot of more, a whole lot of hard work in front of you.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's like going rock climbing. You go rock climbing. You get over that little hill, and you just look up. You're like, holy fuck, I got this whole mountain. I got.
There you go. Yeah, you never know what's over the horizon there.
Yeah.
But so after that, you jump to your next fight, Victor Rodriguez, and you come out. And I mean, as far as a UFC debut goes, I would say a big first round head kick is probably up there as far as ways you could do it. No.
Oh yeah, man. I was super excited about that one because I was telling my training partner the whole entire time. I was like, man, I was like, out of all my fights, like I've always envisioned, like I've always wanted a crow cop head kick KO. Like I've always like, cause I knock people out with the hands a lot. I submitted people and everything, but I've always wanted that head kick knockout. That was one thing that I've had dead set in my career. I always wanted a highlight with me knocking somebody out with a head kick. And I was telling my training partner, if there's any time to do it, it's now. Cause I feel like this guy leads into it. I feel like I can land it on this guy. And it was the week of, and I was like, I really feel like it's gonna land. And man, that's why like after I knocked him out, I went straight to my corner and I was like, dude, what did I tell you? What have I been telling you? He's like, what did I call him? He was like, that head kick, and I was ecstatic because I was like, man, this was amazing. But also I kind of wish I landed more of my shin instead of my foot, man, because I ended up breaking my pinky toe.
Oh damn!
Oh, all right.
Yeah,
Just a little trade off.
yeah, you know,
It's gotta
he
be
won
worth
a
it.
little bit. Yeah. But man, getting that performance bonus, man, I honestly made it all well worth it. So it was great. But man, that whole fight, man, was just crazy because like at the weigh-ins, man, he was like trying to intimidate me in the back. So I looked like the a-hole in front of the camera trying to get in his face, but in the back, man, he was out there just like pounding his fist at me. He was trying to do all the mean mugging and all that stuff, talking like he was like mean mugging my training partner. And I'm just like, dude, like we're gonna fight tomorrow. Why are you doing all this?
You're
Like,
about to eat a head kick.
Yeah,
yeah.
it's tough to be the guy talking all the shit and putting on the whole performance, and then also wind up the guy unconscious. That's a tough one.
Oh yeah, man. I was dead set on hurting. Like I was dead set on hurting this guy because I was like, man, you can talk all the mess you want to me, but like my training partners and everybody else, they're off limits, man. You talk about them, you get a mean me. Like so, it. But during the fight, I didn't let it get it into my head, but like there was a point in time where I had my back against the fence and he threw a knee and I heard his corner say something along those lines. He's uncomfortable here. I was like, dude, I'm really comfortable here. I don't feel threatened at all. I don't feel threatened at all. And even to the point where I looked at my corner, looked at my coach, and my coach was like, wait it out, wait for the right moment. And I was like, okay, cool. Got the right moment. And after that, he tried to trade with me, tried to make it a dog fight. How his corner was trying to say it. It's like, hey, get him in the dog fight. I was like, shit.
Yeah.
Like, more counters for me. And
please do.
one thing I wish I did, I wish I used more head movement, but I was like kind of so in the moment where I wanted to knock him out that I kept my head there and I wanted to bait him into throwing overhands because I knew exactly what I wanted to shoot right after. So it was just all too much for me it was not too much, but it was just one of those that I got a little emotional and I kept my head still and I really wanted it. Like I really wanted to knock him out. Even though I did it, I just wish I did it cleaner.
Right.
Yeah,
It's false flag tape. So when the next guy goes back and watches that and they're like, oh, he's going to keep his head straight on the line, but they're not going to listen to this interview. They're not going to know. It's going to be our secret.
Yeah.
The bait is still going to work.
Yeah.
So your last two fights, you have a combined 3 minutes and 25 seconds of octagon time in your last two fights with two highlight reel first round finishes. So do you feel that not to say, put pressure on you or anything like that, but do you almost feel like that you raised the expectations at a certain point doing stuff like that?
And man, I just raise the expectations on myself all the time. I really don't want to try to, like, I'm my own harshest critic. So at the end of the day, like, I want to better my performance every single time. It's either I have a Floyd Mayweather type of performance where I don't get hit and I just show a masterclass of like me boxing, me getting like having like 100% takedown defense. Like, that's what I want. Like,
That bob and
anytime.
weave from the Estrada
Right.
fight.
Oh yeah, like bottom weave. I want to hit. Like, I want to hit and not get hit. And if I can do that and knock you out at the same time, that's what I want. Like, I want flawless performances. So every single time I step in there, I'm always trying to one up my last fight. Every single time. So I'm always setting the standard high for myself. Like, like my expectations for myself are super high. Even whenever I'm training or doing conditioning or anything like that, like, whatever I do, I expect high. Like, if I had like somewhat of a sparring day where I was like, man, like, all right, cool. I didn't get hit too much. I was moving around, but I did get hemmed up on the fence a little bit too much today. I need to do better, turn off the fence. Like, I'm always trying to work on something. Like in jiu-jitsu, I was like, man, this guy passed my guard. I can't let that happen. I got to figure out ways to recover my guard, or I didn't get the submission. I need to find a way how to finish it. So I'm always trying to one up myself every single time. So, like, with this fight with Gustavo Lopez on March 20th, it's the perfect setup for me. It's like, this guy, he's tough. He's a really tough guy. He went 3 rounds with that guy,
Marab.
Marab, and that guy is no joke. That guy's
Yeah.
no joke. He's a beast. He takes people down and tries to go out there and just maul people. So he went 3 rounds with that guy on a short notice fight. So I'm expecting this guy to be on tip top shape and expecting like the best out of him. And to me, that just, for myself, I'm raising my expectations and expecting like an all out war with this guy. So whether I want it to go that way, I want it to be as clean and as efficient as I can. But I'm expecting like both of us to be like bloodied by the end of the fight. I'm expecting it, but my main goal is to be clean and efficient and have him out in the first round.
Right. And I guess I was curious because obviously getting that first round finish, coming out not touched, is obviously, it's great. Is there any part of you that gets any sort of satisfaction out of those 3-round wars where you get the decision and you got pushed to your limits, tested all the way, and came out with the victory that way?
Oh yeah, man. I've loved those fights, man. I've had a couple, not really a couple. I had to dig deep in one of my legacy fights, and that was against Colin Wright. That was I think that was like my fifth pro fight. I had to dig deep with him. I got the submission in the 3rd round, but he pushed me. But my most recent push was against Kyle Estrada whenever LFA finally joined UFC Fight Pass. And to me, that was the greatest thing in the world because not only was it the first time that LFA was put on UFC Fight Pass, but I main evented that fight, and then also me and Kyle Estrada, we went to war. We didn't.
Yeah.
We
I watched that fight today. That was a fun fight.
Yeah, he chewed up my leg, and I was trying to knock him out from like bell to bell, man. I was in there ready to throw heaters at him, man. He was sneaky.
If you have Fight Pass, that's a strong recommend from this podcast. Definitely,
yeah, absolutely.
Go out there, go watch Yanez Estrada. That was a fun fucking fight. 15 minutes of war.
Yeah, man. I was out there just trying to knock his head off, but also he was like trying to kick my head off. So
and that was a split decision too. So I just wanted to ask, what in that moment where the announcer in the ring, you get 29-28 Yanez, 29-28 Estrada. What does that moment feel like where you're waiting on the third judge who's going to break the tie there?
Man, I don't know if you saw my face whenever they were calling out the scorecards, but I had my hand up whenever it said 29. Like, judge had it like 29-28, and they said Yanez. I immediately dropped my hand because as soon as he said like my name, I knew that he was going to call Kyle's name. I was like, it's a split. I automatically was like, please don't tell me that I lost this fight. Because I've got every single split decision I've had up until that fight, I had lost.
Right.
And it was just one of those, like, I'm about to get screwed. I had to, like, go back to the drawing board. Everything in my head was already going in my head, like, man, I had to go back to the drawing board. I got to come back. And then all of a sudden when they said my name, I was like, oh, shit. They said my name.
Yeah, before MMA instituted that live scoring.
Yeah, it was a fun fight, man. If going back to it, I give him the first and I give myself the last two. That I could see where another judge probably would have scored another round for him, but I truly think that it was like 1-2. I take it round 2 and 3. Because I definitely started pushing the pace. I started coming up. He was his back was against the fence most of the time, like
Right.
me walking him down. So it was a fun fight too, man. Because I was throwing combinations, and he would throw one right at the end of it and catch me, and I'd be like, dude, I just threw a 4-punch combination. He throws one, it hits me. I'm mad. I'm trying to go out there and trying again. So
yeah, I felt like
that
every
was a fun fight.
exchange, neither of you had an exchange where it was like just one of you beating on the other. Both of you were at least touching each other in every exchange.
Oh yeah, man. I just like, and there was also like that weird satisfaction of like me going, because I had like my team drove up to where the fights were, and man, there was like a satisfaction of like my team, my family just being there was like, wow, that was a great fight. And then going to eat afterwards, like I don't know, there was because my leg was chewed up, so I could barely walk. I was going back. I was like, there was a weird like me being a little bit like kind of suffering through the motion. It was like man, I'm limping on my leg. Like went out there, I feel beat up. I'm sore as hell. Walk in, it's like, but I had fun. That's it's like, and I got the win, man. I couldn't be happier. So it's a really happy moment when you get through that fight, through that type of war. It's really, really fun, man. But also those clean knockouts, whenever you get them, those are mighty fun.
Yeah, you're not gonna complain about this.
Yeah.
No, yeah, definitely doesn't suck to leave a fight and be able to walk okay, and
Yeah.
not be pissing blood and all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
So I was thinking about what you were just saying about your upcoming fight with Gustavo, and so the first thing you said made me think, all right, so I'm gonna bet the over. He wants to, we're gonna take him into deep waters here. We're gonna have a little drag out war here. But then you just completely threw my initial thoughts out the window with the first round knockout. So I don't know what do I do here? Over under 1.5.
Man, I want in my reality and where I'm looking at and what I'm training for, I'm training to go three 5-minute rounds, like, and not be breathing hard by the end of it.
Right.
That's what I'm training for, and I'm training for him to come in his tip top shape, coming in, trying to go in there and take my head off and trying to put me on my back and wrestle me, because I know that's almost anybody who I'm going to fight now sees me knocking people out. They're like, all right, let me put this guy on his back. So that's what I'm training for. But also, I can look at his fights and see there's a lot of openings for me to capitalize, and that's what I want to do and get him out the first second round. I do see holes in his game, and I can't wait to go in there and to show him off. But also, I've seen that guy get dropped and come back up and just keep fighting. So it's a tough one for me to be like, hey man, like, bet on me.
Oh, don't worry, we're going to.
Yeah.
We're gonna. You don't have to tell us. We will.
Yeah, so, like, because I see openings, man. I'm seeing them, and like the more I watch his fights, the more I'm just like, all right, but this guy didn't follow up with this, or man, this guy didn't have the vision to do this, and I'm just looking, and I pick them apart a little bit, little by little, and I can start seeing the holes. But
Smart.
like, it's
a good political answer. It's a good political answer.
Covers all sides.
Yeah, I can definitely see me putting him out in the first. But if he's able to take my punches, man, like that'll be a sign to be like, all right, cool. Then he's going all three. But uh, honestly, like I seen him get dropped by somebody who I feel I had more power than. So if that opportunity exposes itself, I see me finishing him early. I feel like I got the better stand up. He is explosive, and I can capitalize on that. So it can be another 50 G's for me, man.
Yeah, that's the
Beautiful.
goal.
Yeah, that's definitely the goal at the end of the day. We love to see that. But okay, that's a good political answer. I can certainly work with that. But so I wanted to ask you. So you've been getting into the gambling content game on Twitter and on social media. So how did you catch the sickness? How did you get the bug?
Man, here's the thing, man. It's like I've done it before. I've done it on. I first initially like a couple years ago. I did it on DraftKings, and I remember betting on Holly Holmes whenever she had kicked Ronda Rousey back in the day.
We also bet on Holly that fight.
Yeah, because I remember because I seen her fight live and for Legacy for LFC, and I saw her head kick that one chick, like almost decapitated her that one time. Like I remember seeing that live, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm never betting against her because she's a boxer. And then also she got these kicks, and I was like, yeah, nah, she's definitely hurting women in the UFC. So I bet on her on DraftKings because she was like the lowest number, and she actually ended up making me win like $40 because I had her, and then I had a couple other people that won that night, and I had somebody who didn't really give me that good of a score, and like a couple years later, I kind of realized like, man, this DraftKings, man, it's cool. Like if you're into I don't like the fantasy football, like like the this player has to score this much or this person.
Right.
No,
Right. It's very weird.
One person that I know is gonna
MMA.
win. Like I want one person who I know is gonna win. I want to bet on that person. Or you know what? I know these two people have a really good chance of winning this fight. So I'm gonna pick these two people, mix that up into a parlay, and try to see if I can win more money.
Yeah,
and
love it.
So I've been initially just starting with small amounts like 20, 40. This last card I lost 100.
Yeah,
happens to the best of us.
Connor hurt everyone's wallet. Well, not Harry's.
Not me. I would like that on the record.
It wasn't just him, man. I had Amanda Rivas on there too. That one.
Yeah,
I did have Rivas. That killed me.
Yeah. So I had Rivas on there. I had this weird feeling. I was like, all right, cool. So I had another parlay that I was like, all right, cool. I felt weird about the Amanda Rivas. I had like about three parlays going. One had Amanda Rivas. One had Sarah McMahon, and then another one had Brad Tavares. And
Tavares looked good.
Yeah, I had Brad Tavares and that other guy that fought that dude. I think his name was his nickname was like Dirty Sanchez.
Oh yeah.
Muradov,
yeah.
That gave me some good odds to win bigger money, even with the Connor in the parlay. So I lost all that money.
Yeah. Trust me, I was in the hole on Saturday. It was a tough one.
Yeah,
so that's part of the fun of it. Part of the fun.
Yeah, no, because I was sitting there like I remember just watching. I was like, man, Connor had a really good first round. He started going there. He's like, he's getting his timing and everything. And then I was like, as the round went on, I was like, I'm not liking this. As like the end of the round, I remember seeing like a couple of those calf kicks land. I was like, okay, that's gonna be a problem. He's not checking any of those. He thinks he's checking them. Because I remember I did the same thing against Kyle Estrada. I thought I was checking them, but no, I wasn't checking them correctly. And then I saw like the check hook started landing, and going into the second round, I just looked at the corner. And I saw the demeanors on both guys, and I was like, man, I feel like something's gonna happen.
Yeah, he was hurting.
Yeah, that first round took a toll. Definitely.
I can't believe he doesn't know how to check a kick. I mean, I'm not saying I could do it, but it's Connor.
Yeah,
Right. No, I mean him saying in the press conference afterwards, they're like, "Oh, I've never dealt with that calf kick in camp before." Like, I don't know if that's just a lie and it's an excuse, but that would be ridiculous. But even more ridiculous would be that Kavanaugh and SBG, they've never drilled calf kicks with him before.
Well, it's one of those things that not too many people throw those kicks. Like I know
Right.
they just became famous, but
More
like
recent.
I know for myself, like I have a training partner who throws them, and I only had him for I think he's been in our camp for like about 3 years, almost 4 years. So like for a good amount of time, I didn't deal with any type of calf kicks. So it's just the person on who throws them and everything. Because that like if that problem never came up, then we
Right.
never.
That's true.
That's it. I know, like at least in Connor's sake, I don't think he's really faced too many southpaws that kick. Like he fought Nate Diaz, and Nate Diaz not gonna throw any leg kicks. He's gonna try to punch you in the face as many times as he can.
Facts.
And Dustin Poirier, the last time he fought, he didn't like the first time he fought him, he tried to throw something, but I think he threw it on the inside.
I think Poirier, since he came up to 55, is like he's a whole new fighter, more or less.
Oh yeah. And then also too, I saw how Connor came in front leg heavy. He came in there like hands up, lead foot heavy, and he was like kind of like moving into him
He
instead
looked a
of
lot more
was
like boxing than his traditional like karate kind of stance.
he was so flat-footed.
Yeah, he came in very flat-footed, not on his toes like how he usually was. I saw that as whenever I saw that when he first came out, I was like, I don't like this. He's too stiff. Like, like back in the day, he was telling everybody,
"You didn't look quite right."
You're too stiff. It's like you're looking like that, like those guys back in the day, man. Like that you were calling stiff.
Right.
So now he's that guy right now. So, man,
if
it
you
was just
put on your Dana White cap, your McMaynard, Sean Shelby cap, what's the next fight that you make there?
For me, I would keep Connor more on the like at least for myself. If I'm trying to do what's good for the UFC, I would probably do probably either a fight with I would go back a little bit. I would either do, since he's coming off a loss, two losses, back-to-back losses, I would do a Tony Ferguson fight. Or even then, I'd probably even take him a step back and fight. Probably, honestly, if I'm looking at it, I probably would put him against some guy who's in the top, like the end of the top 10, maybe even the top 15.
Wow.
Just so he can go out there and like work somebody, or just give him back to Nate Diaz.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think probably going to be Diaz.
Yeah, that's my guess, is that they do the Diaz trilogy.
Yeah, I'd go back to Diaz just
if
because
he even fights. Who knows what he does? He might just go off and box again, catch a bunch of million, and that's just.
Ross is a big Connor fan, so he's very upset by this whole conversation.
No, I just think I just know it's coming. He's just going to be like, oh, they're not giving me Dustin for the rematch. I'm going to go fight Manny, and
I would either do Nate Diaz, get the win off of that one, and then try to get that Dustin rematch. Honestly,
his best bet.
Because if I was him, I would wait for Dustin to get the belt, because I don't think really anybody else is going to pose any problems. Michael Chandler might pose a problem. That's just because of the wrestling aspect.
I think Charlie could give him a tough time too right now.
I think so. I think so too. I just don't think he'll be able to take down somebody like Dustin Poirier.
I agree.
I think what would be really stylistically, I think the kickboxing versus Dustin's boxing would be like a fun fight. I think it'd be like a Dan Hooker versus Dustin Poirier all over again, and I would be
battle.
Certainly down for that.
I would be up for that. And then if Connor wins that Nate Diaz rematch, hey, you throw Dustin and Connor right back at it again.
You set up the trilogy, makes a ton of money, and then Connor rides off in the sunset with the belt.
Yeah.
When his contract's up, because I think he's got 2 left, right?
Yeah, he's got 2 fights left on his deal right now.
Yeah.
And apparently the rumor is that he wants to start his own promotion after that, which, I mean, if I was in his position, that's probably what I would do too. But we'll see.
Yeah, man. All competition is good competition, man. It just raises the standards for fighters, man. I think all that is great, man. I think I know since I'm in the UFC, it's kind of shunned for people to say, but like the fighters in Bellator, man, like I don't know if y'all been keeping up, but the 135, 145, and 155 divisions are stacked.
Killers, man.
Yeah.
Juan Archuleta's a killer. Patchy Mix is a killer. Obviously, both pit bulls are absurd. I mean, look at Michael Chandler coming over right now, and
I'm making a statement.
Destroying Hooker.
I'm telling you right now, the dark horse there at the 35 division, man. Look out for Rafion Stotts, man. That guy's a beast. I trained with him a couple times. That guy's a beast.
Definitely. We got lucky enough to be credentialed for a Bellator event last year that we got to do virtual media day and all that fun stuff. But no, I mean there's some very good talent there for sure. Hopefully we don't get you in any trouble. But I mean, yeah, like you said, I think it's only a good thing for you guys as fighters if there are good alternatives across the board, so if there's PFL, if there's Bellator, if there's whatever other promotion is coming up right now, that's more competition is only going to be a good thing.
Oh yeah, definitely, man. I truly like it too, because then it also kind of raises that kind of like back in high school you used to have those other high school rivalries,
right?
So like literally like that Michael Chandler coming over to the UFC is kind of like a little bit of that rivalry of like, nah, we're gonna throw you against the wolves, we're gonna throw you Dan Hooker. Even though he came over here and beat up our bullies, so it's just one of those things.
He might be the new toughest kid in the schoolyard.
Yeah, he's the new toughest kid in the school. So it's one of those things, man. I like it because it causes like something else. Like you're just like, oh, this guy came over from Bellator. Well, let's kind of go and fuck him up and all that stuff.
Right. And now we also get to play the fun game of like, okay, like Chandler came over and like killed Hooker. Chandler has lost to Pitbull. Like, okay, how would Pitbull fare against all these guys in the top 5 now? It's a fun game to play.
Yeah, it really is, man. I love it. That's why whenever Eddie Alvarez first came over to the UFC, it was one of those moments where I was like, man, he's competing with those with the top. He actually won the belt. I was like, man, a lot of those guys are legit. Like a lot of those guys are really, really legit. Gegard Mousasi was competing at the top in the top 5 before he went over to Bellator, and he's out there still competing. Like he has the belt, I believe. Yeah,
he's their middleweight champion right now.
Yeah. So he's out there doing his thing, So it's just one of those things that, like, man, the competition is really stiff out there. So, I just wish, like, in a weirder world, I kind of wish it would be like a little bit of a UFC versus Bellator type of card where it'd be pretty cool to match the top with the top. So
that would be fun.
It would be fun to answer those questions.
I would sign up for that.
Maybe one day.
I'd be trying to get on that.
I don't think Dana wants to share for now.
Yeah, I don't think so.
No, do the splits 80-20.
I think Dana would want 95-5.
Yeah, Dana wants 95-5, and also Scott Coker has to kiss his hand on camera.
Yeah, you know what? It can happen.
Hey, we've seen crazier shit happen. Why not? Hey, fucking Jake Paul is about to box Ben Askren. We've seen way crazier, weirder shit happen.
Oh yeah, man. I remember when LFA when Legacy Fighting Championships and RFA LFC versus RFA, they had their little thing before they merged, and it was a lot of fun matchups that they had. So that was actually really cool to see.
Yeah, Ryzen and One put on really good cards together, and Ryzen and Bellator have done cards together also that have been real fun.
Oh yeah, like Hiraguchi.
I saw Juan Archuleta's trying to get a fight made with Kuroki Hiraguchi. I'm probably butchering.
I'm not gonna try.
Horiguchi's definitely the last name, but no, he's a fucking stud. I mean, he's a legitimate top 10 probably 135er in the world.
See, like, yeah, that's where like all of those fights make sense. Like, man, like it would be nice to see the top the top guys fighting each other, no matter what promotion it is.
Right. Like I mean, that's what we as fans want. We want to see the
Right.
best fighters in the world fight the
Yeah.
best fighters. And like, that's
And
also why we love MMA and not like boxing, where it's like, guys fight cans and you inflate your record to 30-0. And we want to see competitive, fun fights.
oh yeah, man, definitely. I love it. I love it, and especially it's one of those big things that everybody kind of flocks to the UFC. So every fighter that turns pro, if you ask them where they want to go to the UFC. So that's the best thing going for the UFC, is that they like kind of like made that the go-to spot. Everybody strives to be in the UFC. They want to strive to be in the UFC because the UFC is the best. We have other organizations that have really great fighters, but all those fighters every fighter that turns pro wants to be in the UFC because they want to make their name. They have the brand. They have all to gain. And then also, dude, you got like almost every top, like you can look at every top 10 in the division. You kind of look and be like, all right, we got a lot of studs in here. Like, there's not one name on here that like, honestly, anybody in the top 10 could probably take out each other on any given day. So it's one of those things, man, that the UFC has like the top, to me, has more along the lines of top fighters all around. Like,
right, it's the cream of the crop.
The UFC definitely has the depth is unmatched for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I remember I saw that the Bellator was trying to say that they had the best 205.
That was big for a while.
Looking back, I was like, I don't know, man. You still got Vlad Blachowicz, who's just the champion right now. John Jones hasn't officially moved up to heavyweight. I was like, and he demolishes all those guys.
Right. If John Jones decides he's a 205er, he's the best 205er on the planet.
It's just automatic. But even like we're talking gambling like wise, the UFC, I mean, obviously there's wide favorites and a good amount of fights, but every Bellator card, there's never a close line in any fight. It's always a guy that's like a -500 favorite. Like the matchmaking, it's not like UFC, like we said, the depth wise, but you can even just tell by the lines. It's UFC, it's every fight, like you said, any given night. You get a handful
of like really great fights and like the Grand Prix that they put on and stuff like that. But there's a lot of mismatches.
Oh yeah, like a good example is as much as I think he's a phenomenal grappler and everything. I just feel like they kind of did like Dylan Dennis like a disservice by giving him guys who were too who had under 500.
Right. I think I saw something the other day that his like opponent's combined record is like 2-5 professionally or something like that.
Yeah, I don't like that.
I think Coker and Dana at the end of the day, I think, have very different ideas of how to build up a fighter and build up a star.
It would have been fine. It would have been fine, like if the guys were a little bit like, I'd say like this, if they were like 2-0 or 3-0 or something along the lines, I could forget that all day, every day, like easily, because he's just getting into it. He's like 2-0 or 2-0 right now, so
he's green himself.
Yeah, so it would have been one of those things that like, I'm cool, like that's fine. But to get guys who already have like about a 1-5 record or 1-3, some guy that you're gonna beat.
Just a stepping stool.
That's another form of bullying, man. It's like it's weird. So.
I get what you mean, though. I do think that, like, at a certain point, I feel like you see it a lot more in boxing, but it's like at a certain point, like, it's on the promoter or it's on whoever's making these fights and like convincing these fighters, I guess, that you have a chance in some of these fights. It's like if Vegas looks at you and says that you're a -10,000 favorite in a fight, you know what? A commission probably shouldn't be sanctioning that fight.
Oh yeah, definitely. Then you get the Holly Holmes versus Ronda Rousey type of moment.
Right. But I remember there was like maybe it was over the summer, or maybe it was even last year. There was like a women's boxing fight. No, it was over the summer because it was over like quarantine and all that. There was a women's boxing fight where the way your face just lit up, I have a feeling you know the exact clip I'm talking about. Where like it looks like a literal soccer mom fighting a professional fighter, and she got pieced the fuck up in like 10 seconds flat. Ate a 4-piece combo and hit the deck.
It came out that she was a soccer mom. on. It came out that she was.
Of course she was. Yeah, of course. But yeah, like that's like somebody needs to be held like criminally responsible for that, because that's like not that's the shit that people point at when they're like, oh, this sport is barbaric and blah blah blah. I'm like, that kind of shit legitimately hurts the growth of the sport, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, man. It's definitely one of those things, man. Like I can go back, I could look back at my record. You know, I fought a who's who, but man, there's also those tough decisions, man. Like there's a fighter pulls out. You know, like I was fighting. I ended up one of my right after I lost to Miles Johns, I went and I had a fight scheduled with this guy who I fought later on within that year before I fought Kyle. So the fight after I lost to Miles Johns, I had a fighter. The guy was like 9-5, 9-5. He pulls out like a week before the fight. So they found me another guy that was honestly was like the only guy that was gonna take the fight. Like, because I was like, I need to fight, but this guy had like 40 fights, but he had an upside down record, and I was like, dude, at this point in time, I just want to fight. I need to get the frustration out. So like, we're gonna fight. So that's the only downside to like at least the regional promotions. Like when it comes to like these higher class, like the top 3 in the world, like you got like Bellator throwing on some stuff like that. You know, like James Gallagher, he fought. I know he hasn't fought the top who's who yet, and he's like trying to call out Sergio Pettis. Like he's trying to call out Sergio Pettis, but he got beat down by Ricky Bandejas.
I'm working on a theory that all the SBG guys just stink.
He got pieced up by that guy in the first round, and then he's out there, you know, fighting all these other guys who really aren't that good, you know. And then he's trying to call out Sergio Pettis, but like a buddy of mine, Rafion Stotts, who's in the Bellator, has been calling him out for like the longest time.
Oh, let's manifest it.
Yeah, let's make that happen.
And he ignores them. He even comments back, he's like, I'm not trying to fight you. I'm trying to fight your training partner. He's like, dude, I don't care if you're trying to fight my training partner. I'm trying to fight you.
Yeah, so sounds like a coward to me.
See, yeah. So hey, look, dude, James Gallagher has been ducking my homie Stotts for a while. This is why if that Bellator versus UFC, well, UFC versus Bellator ever happens, I'm gunning for Gallagher.
Yeah, let's go.
Love that. He's on the list.
No, he's definitely on the list.
We heard it doesn't work out well for the other guy when you're angry. We learned that.
Oh yeah, I already know what he wants to do. He's gonna try to shoot in, and the way he shoots in, man, he shoots in with his head outside. Oh man, I know exactly what I want to do.
There you go. Well, you're a friend of the program now, and a friend of yours is a friend of ours. So we're gonna do everything that in our minuscule power to make that happen. Oh, well, Adrian, I think you've given us plenty of your time very generously. I don't think we have to keep you here all night. So is there anything that you want to plug? You want to make sure the people get to?
Oh man, and I just want to say thank you to HKA USA, their training gear, man. They supplied me with all my training gear throughout my training camp, and also they made me some custom gloves.
Nice.
They're white and gold. Nice fitted gloves, laces. They have my name on them. Really badass. You know, if you really want some custom gloves or custom gear, hit up HK USA. They have really phenomenal gear. I thank them so much. Shout out to my gym and all my training partners at Metro Fight Club, man. They're amazing, man. Thank y'all for having me on, man. This has been awesome.
Absolutely. We'll be happy. Hopefully we'll get to talk to you again soon. And we did get a little off the rails there at the end, but just everyone make sure to tune in. Coming up soon, March. Got a big fight, so we're pulling for you, and we really appreciate you coming on, man.
Man, thank y'all for having me, man.
Anytime, man. Thanks so much.